Thank you for coming this early. Audio guys usually don't get out till what, 1 p.m.? Something like that? Okay. So, name is Watson Wu. Do extreme sounds for games and film. All right. And to show some projects worked on. So, we're going to talk about Rising Storm 2, made here in Atlanta by Tripwire, the weapons behind it, and Project Cars 2, the two race cars I was tasked to record. And who has played these games? All right. Cool. That's good. It's better than no hands. So, can we dim the lights? Is it possible we dim the lights for the videos? You know how? Just hit buttons. Hit that red button. There's a self-destruct button. You can hit it. Starts beeping, you run out of the building. I think that's good. I think that's good, right? Let's make this loud. It's a little behind-the-scenes video I made. 1,000 horsepower modified Hellcat Charger because 707 wasn't not enough. I kept a piece of that road as a souvenir. That was fun. So what do you do with those files? Do you just save as untitled.wav file, you know, or something like that? So before I go on a recording session, before I use these bad boys, I make out a shot list, a checklist, and I wanted a printed form. I wanted where I could just check it off because these things will run out of battery, all right, and get lost, things like that. Get stepped on, get wet. So checklist is always good. Make a few copies, and you check it off. And when you're recording vehicle sounds, you always want to do Foley first. You know, when you drive a car really fast and hard, and you turn it off, you hear that clicking sound. That's the heat. So you try to record power windows. It's pretty quiet already. So you record, bring up your gain, and you hear that clicking sound from the heat of the vehicle. So always do Foley's first, and then check it off. So you want to record horn sounds, power windows, doors, opening, closing, the horn, things like that. And later on, for most games, I record ramp sounds right away. That's if you don't know what ramp is, it's if you put your car in first gear and you drive from a stop up smoothly to a red line, that continuous energy, it's a ramp going up, and when you let go of the gas pedal, the throttle, you go ramp down, engine brake all the way down to complete stop. So ramp up and then ramp down. And this is the technology that's used in a plugin called Rev, used in Y, so that when you drop that nice ramp sound into there, and when you squeeze the trigger on a PS4 or Xbox, when you hold on the trigger for that gas pedal, it's shifting because of the ramp. Whereas the old way was steady RPM, so you put your car in first gear and you drive 1,500 RPM. So you're recording these steady RPMs, like maybe 10 to 20 seconds at a time, and then you do 2,500 RPM, 35, and so on. And so the old way was taking the RPM and pitching it to the next RPM as you go faster. And to me, that's more sterile, artificial. Whereas the ramp, it sounds just like you're driving in a car. It's incredible. And so So these are the orders of what I do. And of course, I asked the audio group, give me your priorities first, and then we could do burnouts and donuts when we want to, depending on driver. Some drivers are cool, and some drivers drive like grandmas. They're the actor. So very important that multiple devices, including cameras, set to the same date in that same time zone. I remember being in a job in California. Oh, everything was 3 hours ahead. Not synced with their stuff. And how many times have we turned on something we haven't turned on for a while, and oh man, it's year 2000 on the recorder, or 1990 or something like that, some ancient days. And because later on, 12 years now, I could look 12 years ago at my recording and still find stuff because of the way I name those files in particular folders. I have names of the companies I work for, because I might do 2 or 3 games for that particular company. Now I'll say EA, and there's Madden, NCAA, Sport, and Need for Speed. And so instead of naming the project, I'll do the company name. And then I'll have a raw recordings folder of the stuff I just go out and get. Right? This new friend I made, really cool. He's got that red Ferrari. He said hey Watson, I'm gonna go fly my jet tomorrow. You want to record it? Yeah. So opportunities. I might not make the money, but I have made money later on selling the sounds. I don't have time to post everything on the website to sell. You got to organize and all that stuff and metadata and tag it. So Project Cars 2, they called me and said, are you free in 2 days? It's always like that. Are you free tomorrow or yesterday to record these crazy car? So this car, it's very light. As you can see, it could fly. I think it's only 2,400 pounds, but it's 600 horsepower. Huge turbo. 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. Wow. Now, anybody know about Planet Coaster game? Right? I was tasked to record roller coasters. This blows it away. It was so violent. I'm in there next to I got my bag in my lap, and I'm holding on to something. The race car driver has an awesome cushion suspension seat when he does that crazy jump. I'm sitting on like nothing, just a hunk of metal, and there's an exhaust right under my leg. So he's driving like crazy, doing 180s. I'm like being thrown around, and it was a mess. So it killed my battery cable. So I had to go out and get my backup recorder and re-rig it because my bag was too loose with the recorder. And the exhaust was so loud and hot. I still have a scar on this area. So I'll back this up. So mic placements. It's very important for vehicles. That typically I put microphones in the engine. So I might put the firewall. I might put another one at the air intake. 2 very different sounds. And I put a mic at the cab. So right by the driver and passenger, and I put maybe 2 for exhaust. Originally I had 6 microphones, but because of the violence and killing my $2 cable, I couldn't power my main recorder anymore, and I switched over to the smaller guy. So I got on Skype with the audio director and here's what I'm going to do as a backup, and she agreed, and we kept going. So I sacrificed 2 channels, so I had 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. But it sounded fantastic. So that's typically what I do. So I think of it from a driver's perspective: 1, 2, and 3 and 4, and that's how I name the channels. Channel 1, engine; channel 2, cab; channel 3, exhaust 1; channel 4, exhaust 2. And the reason for that as well is that the cab mic, it's in front of me. So before I do a recording, I'll say, the first time I hit record, I'll say the mic placements and what model and brand they are into the mic. And so, for example, in Baby Driver, the movie, Julian Slater asked me, hey, I knew you worked on a spreadsheet, but really quick, I got those files. What are the orders? I said, listen to channel number 4, and that's the cab mic, and I say what I'm doing before each of the takes. And I wanted a startup, idle, and whatever we're doing, to an idle, to an engine stop. So he's got plenty of startup, idle, and stops. So I told him to listen for that, and right away he can start chopping up the sounds. So that's it, just a very normal thing I do right there. So yeah, you say what you're doing, and if you kill your phone, your notes get wet, you still have that. It's great, especially big jobs. You want speaking to the mic. So that's what I did. I switched over to this backup, and that's where I was sitting, just nothing. You know, at my height, the driver I had, he was 18 and skinny and short, and he had plenty of room. All right, name your folders. From the moment I take out the memory card, plug into a card reader, got my external hard drive ready at the hotel room, I select the files and I hit copy, Command C or Control C for Windows, and I'll name the folder. I'll say onboard. So the sounds of the driver's and passenger perspective is called the onboard recordings versus the external pass-bys. So I'll put onboard, and I'll put, in parentheses, the names of the mics. And I know my order. I know the engine, cab, exhaust 1, exhaust 2. So I'll put, for example, that mic for the engine, for the cab, the exhaust 1, exhaust 2, and the name with the recorder, the 744T right here. And right away I could just go in that folder and hit paste. Because if you do multi-days, just like the film guys, the first thing you do when you get to the hotel is what? Charge your batteries. We rely on a lot of batteries. I have this huge battery that would power my big recorder for over 16 straight hours. I was in the desert, and it was time of year where it's more daylight than night, and you need these batteries. You rely on them because you're in the middle of nowhere. You're on a racetrack. Where's the nearest power? It's way 2 miles that way. So the first thing we do is paste, charge batteries, and when it finishes, I'll just do something else. Get ready for the next day. So here's external. So I named it 418S, one of my shotgun mics, and with my backup recorder, an Edgar R44, which is still a fantastic recorder. That thing recorded a tank, so it's good stuff. All right, after you finish everything's copied and pasted, and you make another copy, and I reorganize and I rename my files, and that's where I start making the spreadsheet while I do that. All right, so when I copy these files from a multi-track recorder, it's single wave files, but they have multi-channels. So this one will have 4 channels in each of the wave files. Well, some people can't deal with it, so I'll rename them according to this way. The type of vehicle, what I'm doing, am I doing onboard or external? The take number, all right? Every time I hit record and stop, that's take 1. I hit record again, it's take 2, and so on. And the type of driving we're doing a ramp in first gear, and that's channel 1 engine, channel 2 cab, 3 exhaust 1, exhaust 2. So you want to name a file so it's alphanumeric order, so that if I give Eric a huge folder with 800 wave files, hey, Eric, I want you to find all the exhaust sounds for me for ramp first gear. And Eric's like, no. So you want to make it easy where you just scroll and scroll, go, yeah, right there, channels 3 and 4, no brainer. All right, and so for example, take number 6 was reverse driving. So it's very important. Even when you drive a car in a game, you got to go backwards, right? It's got that high-pitched sound, that whine when you reverse, very distinctive. And then different ones like external. So now we When I jumped out, everything's fine for onboards. I hit record and I let it go. I get my MS shotgun mic, and from there, I name these files differently. And sometimes, I'll record raw. I won't give people the actual XY stereo that's been processed. I'll give them the raw files of mid and side so that they could mix it in one. So I'll name files these ways: start up, revving, flying away. And you have close perspective, you have far perspective, so all different ways. And then the Foley sounds. So instead of onboard external, it's now Civic, Foley, door close, door open, horn close by, and horn far away. So believe it or not, in games, you sometimes use your horn. So in the game, it may look like this. I'm not using actual file names from Slightly Mad Studios who made Project Cars 2, but another company I've done work for. This is what they do. They say vehicle, the type of vehicle, where it is, the engine and exhaust, and the rev file, the ramp, startup, shutdown, and so on. So that's the two different cars I recorded for Project Cars. And the second driver was 15 years old. Amazing. Yeah, high-pitched voice. Yeah, braces. I'm like, you're 15? Let me see your license. I don't have one. 15! Driving like that. Anyway, it's crazy. They're crazy. I'm like, there's a wall, there's a wall. And he turns. My silent screen in my head as I'm in the car. All right, so here is a little in-game of the Honda Civic Red Bull crazy car. So you hear the RPM going up, and it shifts, and then you hear when you let go of the gas pedal, that engine brake, that boom 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 boom, and that's what cars do. So it sounds, it brings back memories of being scared in that car, Yeah, goosebumps. It's awesome. I love it. After an hour getting out of the car, my hands are still doing this. That was fun. That was fun. Make you puke. Okay, here's another one. This one's louder, so I'm gonna turn down a little. Okay. Every boy's dream, and some girls. Some girls are into that stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of ways you could name those files. Explosions are easy. Explosion 1, explosion 2, explosion 6 pounds, 1 pound, all that stuff. Okay, dot waver. Okay, so my typical, that's my big rig. That's my 8-track recorder with 2 4-channel mixers. And that's what I use to take care of real loud sounds. And those white headphones, incredible. I could actually shoot the weapon on my own while recording. I had that bag on me to demonstrate that I could listen what I'm recording. How do you listen to a gunshot? You can't. These, you can't do that with these. It just hurts. You have to be 70 feet away, and maybe you're okay. All right. So that's my baby right there, and got that to fit in that Ferrari. It's cool. Again, Navy folders. So as soon as I take the memory card out, I'm going to stick it on the card reader. I select the files, hit Command C, and I'll make a new folder. Again, the names of the mics and the name of the recorder. And it looks something like this. So the folder's there, I go in there and I hit paste, and I charge more batteries, as usual. And then sometimes we do up to 24 channels, 24, like almost 24 microphones in this huge space. So I might have 2 8-tracks, another 4-track, another 4-track. It's a mess. It's so many cables. So same thing for the 4-track. I'll name it and paste in there. And again, you do that so that later on I come back and go, okay, that's what these are. I don't have to go, where is that spreadsheet? It's right there. It's ready. And I've spoken to the mic. All right, correcting. Now this one's tough for a lot of people. If you don't have the experience, and you'll get it wrong. That's a rifle. But can that rifle shoot full automatic? It looks like it. It's black, kind of military looking. No. Quite often, regular people, they have semi-automatic rifles. So you have to ask the expert you hire, the weapon guys, hey, is this automatic? Nope. You ask the other one, yeah, that is. So again, the black rifle. So even some that could shoot full automatic has a selector switch, switching to semi-automatic, meaning that if there are 30 rounds in the magazine of bullets, semi-automatic means if I squeeze, one shot goes off, but I'm still holding the trigger. Nothing happens. Semi-automatic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To get 30 shots, 30 squeezes. Switch a weapon to full automatic. All right, that's full automatic. So different ways of naming things according to what they are. AR-15. That's a typical AR-15 look. So I named the name of the weapon, the caliber. So it's later on I have a client says, Watson, I need 20 weapons in the .223 or 5.56 caliber. Oh, okay. I could find it right there. And I could just copy and paste, compress it and send it along. So the caliber, and I do the distance. Distance means how close was the microphone to the weapon. So I've had as close as this. I've had it as far as 650 feet away. So close could be a few inches or on the weapon, and to maybe 3 feet for close perspective. And then I have medium. Medium could be 20 yards, 30 yards to, again, 650 feet. So depending on what game it is, and quite often I just do all 3 perspectives. Now full automatic. Full automatic, again, some of them has a select switch to switch it over to do single shots. A lot of games do single shots. So, that's right. So again, the name of the weapon, an M16 is full automatic, .223 caliber, and I'm doing singles, close perspective in variation number 4. Sometimes I have 10 variations, 20 variations. Because the single shot is the one that's got to sound distinctive. Because if you shoot semi-automatic, bam, 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 after half an hour, you're like, man, I'm tired of that same shot. So we got to do the variety. Give this one, EQ a little lower to raise the pitch on that one, and mix it in different ways. That's why we have so many microphones, so that we could do all different types of flavors. And these things are ice cream flavors. Okay. Nick likes the garbage flavor. I'm just a vanilla guy. You know, so we got to satisfy everybody. We want all these different flavors to mix them to keep them happy. And Eric and Chris on there. So we want different flavors, and that's why we have just so many of these things, these rabbits. Right. So in the game of Rising Storm 2 and Killing Floor, see they got a bargain. They said, "Hey, can we do modern weapons on the same session?" Like, all right, I'm getting paid less. Okay. It's all good. They're awesome guys. Love these guys. So, WEP. Any idea what WEP may be? Anybody? Without ear protection. That's a good one. That's a good one. See, I don't like crazy abbreviations. I have a relative who uses abbreviations. I don't know what she's saying in the text. Didn't you get it? I'm like, no, you do. So in the game, it's called weapon. So every company has a different ways of naming files. So it's a weapon, it's an AK-47. Auto means it's shooting full automatic, and it's got the tail. Bam, 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 bam. And then that second one, AK-47 auto, bam, 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 bam. It's for looping. So you as a player with your huge 30-round magazine, bam, 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 bam. And then if you're somewhere it's very grassy, you won't get that crazy echo, the tail sound. Whereas if you're over a cliff, you're in an urban area, we have a lot of concrete for the reflection sounds. And in the game, it's cool. It's like this. It's really realistic. You're playing the game, bam, 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 and you're like, there's a lot of people there. Check magazine. So he takes out the magazine and looks at how much ammo he has, puts it back in. That's pretty cool. Tripwire did that. So check button, the magazine release button, check back and check forward. All right. So these guys are incredible with what they've done, and they have variations of the single shots. They have 4 variations, and they have this awesome system where when you as a player walk into a building, the ecosystem takes over, so it sounds as though you're indoor versus outdoor. Incredible. All that through their programming. And the other weapon, it's Chris Vector, and incredible weapon. So that's how they name files. That's what they want. And when I look at it, it makes sense to me. And I've seen the files from developers. It's like this R126. You need a spreadsheet guy to decipher what that means. I know some of them are trying to keep their file names short, but dude, it's not DOS anymore. I came from DOS. Those black and white computers, no mouse, nothing, touch, and it was so boring. That's why I hated computers back then. You were limited 8 characters. How do you name these weapons? You can't. You make a system and you say R126. You guys are blessed to live today. It's like, wow, I can do that many characters. Crazy people doing crazy things. Wave file. Okay, now we get the lesson. Reaper. I like Reaper. Thank you, Chris. All right, here is the rally race car, and I'm so glad they had HDMI cables. VGA, I couldn't do that. High resolution. So you have the engine 1, channel 1 engine, channel 2 the cab, channel 3 exhaust 1, and channel 4 exhaust 2. So in how I name the files, you have the ramp, you have the RPMs, you have the runs. So here is some RPMs. Let's listen to it one at a time. Let's see engine by itself. So when the cars are running slow, they sound like they're gonna die because they're made for high speed. But here is a ramp. Engine, and I'm gonna let you hear the in-cab, and it's cool. He's got this sequential shifter. It's really cool. It makes a really cool sound. Here is exhaust number 1. See that crazy wave file? That intentionally, that's what we want. Certain recorders can do that, can handle that.
So when you're doing something like that, where do you draw the line on how much like natural clipping you want versus, because you could obviously turn it down and do nothing. But,
It's your ear, really. You know, if you have those headphones I had, the remote audio big white headphones, you could hear that in the cipher. So you can see the different sizes as I progress. It depends on your ear. You know, a lot of race cars, muscle cars, you're gonna get distortion anyway, because that's what they are. When I was at Sebring recording these GT race cars, the whole thing was distortion. You know, it was so loud that I was in pain. If you wear these, you were in pain. It was like shooting 50 calibers all over the place. It's just loud, painful. Thanks, EA. So here's exhaust number 2. That's the exhaust 2. So here isolation, you hear pure engine, you hear the cab, which is the mix of engine and exhaust. You have exhaust 1, which sounds very different from exhaust 2. So you see in the video that you see the third person point of view of driving the race car, and then you have first person point of view. So by changing cameras, you get a different sound, different mixing. So that's why we do multi-track recordings.
For the 2 exhausts, are you placing the mics like stab 2 exhaust pipes, or just doing one on each and doing difference?
Quite often I just do 2 in the same area, unless it's like Need for Speed or more particular. I have 2 right here and 1 right there. And I use 3 different brands, not 3 different models, so that they sound different. Again, Rocky Road, Vanilla, chocolate garbage, you know, Superman. These, I mean, all these different flavors. Like, I can't eat. It looks like Play-Doh. I can't. Anyway, so it's the different brands. You want different sounds so that when you change camera, I like that sound. Okay, I'm gonna derive from first point of view, which I like third person. I can see what's going on. Who's sneaking up on me. So anyway, let's go to the Chris Vector submachine gun. So this one, I just took a 8-channel file. Just solo this first 4, and you can see how these are delayed. They're further away. They're the medium perspective versus the close perspective. Very fast working. Just by looking, you can see it's a stereo pair, left and right channel. It's a thumping sound. I think that's his room. So this was done in Florida. There's a lot of foliage, so you get some of the mics make it get 2.5 seconds of tail sounds. And when I'm in a desert during the big sessions, the gun tail is like it just keeps going. 14 seconds later, it disappears. So if you want crazy gun tails, you go to Nevada, you go to the desert. If you want that tight, in-your-face sound, Florida's great. Right, so I gave them some long tail sounds to add to these, so that if you're, again, in an area where it echoes a lot, urban environment, a lot of concrete buildings, they added those tails to these tight gunshots. So if I gave them Nevada recordings, everything's got long tails, so they have to cut a lot more to make it sound tight for grassland terrain. All right, here is in game the AK-47. That's Rising Storm 2, Vietnam. All right, renaming software. There's a lot of really good or really hard to use renaming software. You definitely want to get one. This one's called Rename. Very original. There it is. It's easier to look at versus other ones. So I'm gonna, let's say I got a company that wants the actual name of the weapon. Here's a full auto sound effects library I did, and the caliber is 7.62, so that's a AK-47 round, 7.62 by 39. I could select all, and the company wants AK-47 instead. I drag it into this rename, awesome name software. Select it all. I will put 7.62. In the next box, I'll put AK-47. and then I'll click rename files. Bam! Look at that. Look at that. Instead of click, and imagine thousands of files. So there you go. That was an easy use. And then I didn't have to clear this. It's done. A lot of times you have to clear it or close it off, but anyway, rename is a great software. So you just type what you want and what you want to replace with, and it's fantastic. Yeah, prefix, suffix, all that stuff. So highly recommend it.
Do you know of any PC alternatives? 'Cause I kind of
Yeah, I have one I use. It's got the worst interface. It took me a while to get used to. I'm like, oh, that's how it works. Because it just, it's not like a video tutorial. Maybe I should do them. Email me. I'll tell you what I use. I see it in my head, but I don't know the name. It's got a stupid name. It's not like rename.
Is it AF5?
No, it's not that. I need to check that one.
Is it Renamer?
No, it's not renamer. No. You just have to ask me, later on. What's up?
I'm pretty sure that Finder has this ability built into it. Is there
Somebody said that.
is there an advantage to using rename?
Oh,
Like that?
did you see what I just did? Did you see that? That was easy.
Pretty easy.
Man, I could take a 6-year-old kid, bring him over here. That was awesome. So that's answering my question. You saw it. I didn't make anything up. I'm not promoting them. That was easy. I love it. All right, questions? Yes.
Do they ever expect you, the client, to edit metadata or?
Yeah, depending on the client. These two clients, they have their own audio teams, and so they just said, just give us the raw files with a spreadsheet, But for my sound effects libraries, because of demand and pressure, they had me add metadata. So I'm slowly taking my stuff that's already online and adding. And by doing that, I could charge a little more. Because people use SoundMiner to find just thousands and infinity amount of sounds, like Skywalker sound. Imagine all the film they do in cartoons and stuff that they have tons of libraries, and they record too. So they purchase and they record with all their awesome gear. So they need something like SoundMiner to find. All right, we need all the rock impacts. They hit it and bam. There's so many different types. So I don't like that. I like things. I'm just talking about me. I want things that I can read and say, that's what I want. When I double click on it or insert it, it's what it is. I'm not going to say untitled wave file. What is that? I don't want to rely on another software telling me where it is. Because 12 years ago I recorded some things, I could still find it today. If you can't find something in less than 5 minutes, then you got to change your way of restructuring. Use rename and rename a bunch of stuff. Okay. Yes.
When you're miking that car,
Mhm.
like the exhaust mics, how
Yeah.
are you securing those?
Go to my YouTube channel, type in Watson Wu Jaguar. I recorded a 550 horsepower Jaguar. It's a beautiful car. Anyway, you'll see where I put certain things. I use a Rode. It was a paid session by Rode Microphones to show using only their mics how I record a car. So I creatively put mics in the blank and use gaff tape and gaffed it to the bumper. And I used actually 3 different microphones in the same mic and able to capture while the person was going allegedly really fast, and it stayed on. I'm like, cool, because I didn't want to give away my secret really. But for a road, I'll do something because they're awesome. Look at that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so check out the videos. It'll be helpful. Yeah. But I'm not gonna give everything away. Okay? What's up?
So you were saying like the fourth floor like mangroves for kind of dry? Is that the best way to get a dry gunshot? Is it like a very kind of like
Grassy,
grassy? area?
but the problem is that where I live, the cicadas are loud. I hate them. You know, I want to shoot a fireball out there and get rid of them. You know, somebody's gonna hate me, but hey, it's ruining my session. So when it's warm, I can't do weapon recordings really. And so I wait for a high of 60. You know, I wait for that. So, but yeah, grassy is you know, or dirt. It's a good place. You know, I found a place that had a big pond, almost like a lake. And when I shot over it as a test recording, like, whoa, water! It reflects like glass. That gave me the tail I wanted in Florida. So that was cool.
Do you have any favorite months to record? Because summers might be too consecutive.
Cold months. But coal has problems. Coal has wind. When I worked on a British war movie, I went out to record in Florida, and it was the coldest day. We were freezing. And so I had to use a different part of the range that I didn't like because of the wind. Yeah, these things protect the microphones, but it was really windy. And you can turn the knobs, it was that cold in Florida. So, yeah, just be careful. When it's cold, it's going to be windy in the morning, you know, Florida, for example. So, maybe just before it gets cold, you know, that first cold snap, when the cicadas are gone, that's a good time. You know, some people like a little humidity, like Charles Maines, he likes to record some humidity. He says it sounds good. And also overcast. When the clouds are low, that first video of the cannon going off, those guys told me when it's cloudy, it's like a canopy. Kaboom! Rather than going away from you. So it's got some reflection to it. I'm like, that's cool. You guys have ears. You know, they were sound guys didn't make it. I was glad they told me. And you know, it may rain. So it's a fine line of we're here and it's raining. So yeah, just heavy wind is a problem. Insects are problems. Birds.
Nature.
Yeah, you know, there's no perfect, you know, Foley room, you know, all room treated. It's outside. It's field recording. It's a lot of problems. And also, I have microphones that reject side and rear sounds, very directional. So that's why I use vocal mics, shotgun mics, stereo shotgun mics, pencil mics, all for that different sound. So that at least I'm going to capture 60% of great recordings. If I could do that, I'm happy because I have a lot of mics. Yeah. Yes.
So this might be obvious to people that I don't know a lot about like field recording. How do you have such high distances synced with microphone tracks?
Okay. I use a brand by a company called ETS. They make a thing called Insta Snakes. It is a box that you connect a Cat5e data cable, and it has to be shielded cable. And each of the cables will send 4 signals. So that's how I was able to do 650 feet.
But they're actually cables.
Yeah, cable, not wireless, cable. No antennas, no dish. And I first heard about it through a friend. I'm like, let me try it. Because I could buy from here and return it, full refund if I don't like it. So I bought one, and I tested next to a 100-foot XLR cable. Same microphone, two of the same brand model. And my friend happened to have a 50 caliber rifle. It's cool, right? 2 same mics. So I had a 50-foot Cat5e data cable and XLR on both ends. So one goes to the mic, one goes to the recorder. And I did both, this perspective, that perspective, and I could not hear the differences. It was clean. I'm like, wow. Take it back to the studio, play it back. Wow, no noise from that InstaSnake product. So I got a bunch of those, and they sound great. Because if you buy a 100-foot XLR cable, how much is it? You think? You're the cable guy. How much is that? More than $30? $50 times how many? 24 channels. That's a lot of money. I bought a 300-foot Cat5e cable. $80. That's 4 channels right there. Wow. So I got a bunch of plastic bins with these cables. And when I did a session there, somebody shot up my cable. Somebody shot up with an AK-47 and killed that cable. I was glad it was that one instead of XLR, because it was cheaper. And that's why you always bring a backup and a backup and a backup. So we replaced that cable with another cable and routed it around so that nobody could shoot at it unless they're pointing that way. So that's what you do. That way, in a lot of recorders, high-end recorders have time code, so that when you hit record, he hits record 10 seconds later, it's still time code, even though they're not connected. So you put them all together, hardwire connect them, and you do the time code, you do the jam, so that they're all at the same time. So Chris Giles here, he's a film sound mixer. He's got to be in sync with the picture, along with other guys who are recording at the same time. So time code is very crucial. So in his world, it's a must. Where is that? Use the time code, use the notes you did. Yeah. So in the voiceover recording, thousands of lines. I can't do that. I can't deal with that, Ariel. Thousands of lines of VO. It's like, I'd rather stick to this stuff. So specialized. Any other questions? Yes.
Do you record flat or do you roll off and swing 40 or 50 hertz?
It depends on what's going on. Sometimes the new location where it's like, I don't like that sound as much. Or the weather affects it too. So I'll engage 40, 50, 80, even up to 120, just because it's reacting badly. So, but I try to avoid that as much as possible. So I know what the mics can do. When I get a mic, what can I do with this mic? Let's record this muscle car, let's record these impact sound, and then we put it next to a weapon and see how it reacts. So I know what they can do, and it's just a lot of trial and error.
You record at 48 kilohertz per bit?
Typically 2496, right? And then with client we want 192. Like, all right, which means it makes everything work harder. But yeah, typically 2496. If you have to do a lot of pitching stuff, then I'll do 192. Yes.
Have you had any requests for 32-bit?
I have not.
Because some of the new recorders are advertising that. I'm wondering if there's been a push from the industry or if it's just pitched from the salespeople.
We'll get there. Because as remember, first time I was asked to do 2496. What are you saying?
Yeah.
I need a bigger hard drive. Of course, hard drives are so cheap now.
Mm-hmm.
I had just several terabytes of raw recordings, 2496, and then you got that camcorder and all that stuff. So, yeah, we'll get there. Before you know it, it'll be 48-bit and then so on, all from a little cell phone. Before you know it, you're gonna record 50 channels. You're not gonna believe me, but it's gonna happen. Seriously. When they said back then, if you hit 35 miles per hour in that car, you're gonna have a heart attack. Well, we went faster now. And we flew to the moon. We can get 50 channels on it. You'll see it. It's going to be like this small, more Dick Tracy stuff.
All right, so let's say you get a brand new microphone that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to record to test out how a mic will colorize certain things or how it might react?
Yeah, just anything I could do loud right away. Hey, Sledgehammer, what can I destroy today? I got a bunch of old computers, Dell and this stuff. And, I'm waiting for that silver Mac to die off because that huge hunk of metal, just bash it, put a mic next to it and see what happens. Oh, that's way too loud. Let's turn it down. So anything loud, really, and just push it. Let's see what it sounds like when it's clipping and clipping more. And so that's what you find out you could do. And of course, I like to record beach waves. That's how you can tell quality of mic is the waves. listen to Castaway, the movie. Oh, beautiful sound. That's this mic. Not this one, but that brand. It's so beautiful, right? And that's the Pro mic. That's so cool. Let's play that again. It's so cool. So, yeah, see, I'm a junkie. You had a question? No?